Thank you, I appreciate that. Before we get started, when I was a kid, my mom used to always sort of call me down by telling me that you know, making threats one way or the other. The one thing that she said that you will never ever be good enough to be a member of Rotary. So, just clap again real quick. So yeah, I'm Gregory Kallenberg, and I am the Executive Director of the Louisiana Film Prize. Before I get started, I want to thank all of you. Is Kathy French here? Kathy French is really the first that kind of dropped the bomb on me that we might be able to come and speak to you guys. We were absolutely thrilled. Larry Vinsky, who's been a dear friend. Katie Merriman up here, she's a wonderful person, and I see a bunch of familiar faces out there. So thank you all for having us here. I'd also like to introduce a couple people who are here with me, if you want to talk about the Film Prize. After this, one is Sabrina Edson. Sabrina, if you can stand up. She's the festival producer. Then Ian Summers. Ian, go ahead. Ian's title is Festival Badass, so watch out. I want to talk a little bit about how the festival was born, what happened last year, and what is happening this year, and then talk about how each and every one of you can be a part of it. How many people have been to the Louisiana Film Prize, or went to the Louisiana Film Prize last year? Okay, well, thank you. Well, that's good. I actually don't mind it when people don't raise their hands. That means we have a lot of converts in the room, or potential converts. So basically, you know, when the Louisiana Film Prize rolled around, it was really rooted in something else. As Larry said, I did a film called Haynesville, which was a documentary about the Haynesville Shale, discovery here, the lives of 3 people who were going through the boom times that were occurring here. What was interesting about doing the film Haynesville was that when I moved here from Austin, I brought about 4 guys with me. 2 of those guys are still here. So brought people here from Austin, people wanted to stay here from Austin, which to me was sort of a fascinating thing when you think about the building of the community, what we want Shreveport to be. Well, Haynesville did very well. Haynesville played all over the world, and as a result, the Shreveport Film Commission and the Tourist Bureau brought us in to help consult on a film festival for Texas. For Louisiana. What is interesting about sort of sitting with these people is, again, we had gone to film festivals all over the world, and we had wound up in a place where the only reason that we would go to film festivals with Haynesville is if they were vacation spots. So hence you see on our poster things like the Maui Film Festival, the Santa Barbara Film Festival. And so I immediately told this group of friends and family in the room that I thought a film festival in Shreveport was a terrible idea. Now, if you want to lose friends really easily, tell them that they have an awful idea. And you'll see the room chill to the point where there's frost on the windows. But what I did was I told them, I said, let me go back and let me think a little deeper about this. And I tell you what I was thinking about, is I was thinking about the people that I brought here from Austin, that once they had been in our community for a while, they wanted to stay here. What could we create in this town that would really bring people here, but bring people here to get in contact, to become one with our community? Because I don't know if you guys have looked out the windows lately, Shreveport doesn't have mountains, and we don't have beaches. Or maybe we have beaches, but they're on Red River, which is not beaches. But the fact is that what we do have is we have an incredible supportive community. We have some of the nicest people on the planet here, and I got to tell you, that is the reason why we haven't gone back. Right? I mean, one of the reasons I haven't gone back to Austin is not because my family's here. I mean, if you met my mom, you would be back in Austin. Right? The fact is that the reason I'm still here is because of the community that's here. So we went back to our cave and we lit our candles and we started to think deeply about what we could do to bring people to Shreveport. And we came up with what is now called the Louisiana Film Prize. And what the Louisiana Film Prize is a national call to filmmakers to make a short film. And a short film to us is a film between 5 and 15 minutes. But here's the caveat. The caveat is you have to come to the Shreveport Bossier area to film your production. Okay? You can do pre-production at home, You do your post-production home. Pre-production is the planning for a production. Post-production is editing, music, effects, that sort of thing. But you have to come here and you have to do your production. Now, you know, the question that was always the follow-up as we were trying to teach people what we were trying to do nationally last year, why the hell would I come to Shreveport, Louisiana, right? Well, the Louisiana Film Prize last year gave away $50,000 cash to the winner, which was the largest cash prize for a short film given in the world last year. So we were the largest cash prize in the world. So, big carrot, right? Big carrot to get people to the Shreveport area. And we kicked open our doors last year, and maybe my expectation was that we'd have about maybe 40, maybe 50 filmmakers, probably 3/4 of them would be local. The astounding thing about last year, as Larry noted, was that we had, actually, I'm not sure you remember this, but that we had 86 film crews come in from all over the country. Now, I say all over the country, where we thought we were going to have maybe about 3/4 that were out of the area, we had about a little less than half came from Dallas, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Florida, Georgia. They came here, they stayed in our hotels, they ate our food, they hired our cast, they hired our crew. The local people did the same thing. They took it incredibly seriously. They took it incredibly seriously to the tune that these 86 film crews spent $2.1 million in there. Now, that's quite a boost when you think about a first-year festival, and we're not even to the festival part. We're really to the part where all these people are doing is they're coming to Shreveport to shoot their projects. So next, our charge was to take those 86 films. Some were really good and some were really, really bad. And we were charged with taking them down to really decide the finalists, and then eventually who was going to get the $50,000. And this was sort of another interesting sort of twist that we came up with one night late in our office with pizza and tequila and just, you know, kind of running out of ideas, right? I mean, that blank whiteboard that we all look at. And the Louisiana Film Prize is chosen 2 ways. One way the Louisiana Film Prize is chosen, 50% of the vote, is by a national panel of judges. Chosen very carefully by national press, national filmmakers, people coming into town, once again, to interface with our community, but also to energize our community. That's 50%. The other 50% is pure American Idol. I mean, it is pure public vote. So that other 50% really is something where we put onto the filmmakers. We say to them, if you want to win the $50,000, it is on you to make sure that people remember your film. Now, we fast forward to Louisiana Film Prize weekend last year, 2012, October 3rd through 6th, we took over the Robinson, we took over Art Space, and we took over the Capri. How many people are old Shreveport people here that remember the Capri when it was a theater? We actually turned it back into a theater, but we left the bar open in the middle. So, I mean, you can imagine how joyous people from Shreveport were that they could get a drink while they're watching the movie. So, we thought we'd sell 800 tickets. We sold, as Larry said, about 1,800 tickets to this. One of the reasons we sold the tickets was because it was on the filmmakers to promote themselves. So part of the magic of the film prize, part of the energy that was there was that the filmmakers had every incentive to cajole, incentivize, to energize their friends, families, anybody that they saw on the street to come down to the film prize and be a part of it. Another part of it was if you were down there for the film prize, you saw this incredible thing happen to our downtown. You saw filmmakers taking every nook and cranny, putting bands in there, doing seances at the Logan Mansion, doing magic shows in the middle of the street, having dance raves by the old Louisiana Hayride. It was absolutely amazing to see what happened. And then, on Sunday, after all the dust had settled, one group walked away with $50,000. And that $50,000, I can tell you right now, really has changed these filmmakers' lives. I mean, when you look at who they are and what they want to be now, not that they just want to be filmmakers, but it's taking them to a place where they're thinking deeper about not only staying here in Shreveport, but being a productive part of who we are and what we're trying to be. So, fast forward to the year 2013. We're sitting there, we're trying to think, are we going to do this again? And then we think, hell yeah, why not, right? I mean, how could we not take the energy and the momentum that we had last year and really roll this into something else? So, in January of this year, we announced at the Robinson Film Center that we were going to roll out Film Prize 2013. Last year we had maybe, I don't know, 20 people, 30 people there. This year we probably had about 150 people there. People drove in from Dallas, they drove in from Mississippi, they drove in from New Orleans, they drove in from Little Rock, Arkansas, all to be a part of just that portion of what we were trying to do. Now, it's pretty amazing when you look at that, you kind of roll it forward to now we're in May. The rough cuts are due in July 8th, July 9th. On July 9th, filmmakers from all over the country will turn in their rough cuts. The interesting thing about this year is that last year, about this time, we maybe had about 55 registrations for the Film Prize. It's, as I said, about 2/3 of them were local. This year, we just passed the 70 number. 2/3 of them are from out of town. I mean, I can tell you from the experience of going to film sets all weekend long, much to the chagrin of my wife. I visited film sets all weekend long. A film set from New Orleans, a film set from Dallas, a film set from Oklahoma City. All these people are here. They are staying in hotels, they're eating at restaurants, they are hiring cast and crew. The one that I saw on the last day, yesterday, was a crew out of Dallas. They had about 20 people on set, about 10 of them were local. They basically rented all their gear here. And all they could talk about was what an amazing place the Shreveport Rotary Club was. All they could talk about was how nice people were. All they could talk about was how, if they won the $50,000, that the first thing that they would do is raise the money to come back here to shoot the feature for the short they're shooting right now. And we're already seeing that, by the way. I mean, we're already seeing 2 crews from last year in the top 20. One is a crew from Chicago who just raised $3 million. $3 million to come back to Shreveport, Louisiana to shoot their feature. But I don't want to just hem in the Film Prize as a filmmaking event. Because when you look at the Film Prize, and you look at what we're trying to do, and you look at who participated, it's not just filmmakers. These are graphic designers, these are web designers, these are entrepreneurs. These are the people with the creative spirit we want here to help grow our economy for the future, right? So when you look at the Film Prize, you got to think that these teams are made up of people that I really want to come back. In fact, when you look at Gregory Kallenberg's evil plan, and I have an evil plan, when you look at the evil plan, my evil plan is that eventually, that not only does Shreveport Bossier become an indie film capital, though it's a secondary priority, is that we become like a mini Austin, right? And I say that with a caveat that, God, I was so sick of people telling me how when I lived in Austin, they wanted to be Austin. I mean, it's a nauseating principle that's down there. But I think at scale, Shreveport can do it. And when you see these people come to this place, and you see them be a part of who we are, and you see them want to come back, I think that we have a shot at being something like a mini Austin. We have a place where we can actually nurture that creative talent. I mean, God knows we have a lot of money here, we have a lot of spirit here, we have a lot of support here. You know, when I was, and actually I think there's still like a death pool on me from Austin. Like, people are still like, man, are you coming back? And I'm like, I'm not coming back. And the reason is I tell people in Austin that people in Shreveport, Louisiana, and in Bossier, they won't allow you to fail. I mean, for the most part, as long as you just don't have a dumb idea and you're just totally not planned out, you're not thinking about it. If you have a good idea and it's solid and you thought it through, people in Shreveport Bossier have a tendency to put you on their shoulders and carry you over the finish line. And to me, that is an amazing thing. So, in closing, I'd like to tell you how you guys can all be a part of this too. One, we are a nonprofit festival. Again, much to my wife's chagrin, I used all of her summer vacation money last year to fund last year's Film Prize. But right now we're in fundraising mode, and we do it at all levels. Last year we had the benefit of having Volkswagen as a sponsor, Hilton as a sponsor, Stella Artois. We had a lot of private families step up and really be a part of what we're about. This year we're expanding the pool. We are trying to get local businesses, local individuals involved. We have really levels or we should say we have levels for everyone, for whoever wants to participate. And I would ask if you are interested in participating to talk to Ian and or Sabrina and let us come by and just tell you more about what we are and who we are and how we do it, because I think we do get that benefit. The other part is that if you're unable to be a sponsor, if you're you might have given all of your donation dollars away, The one thing I will ask is that you come and be a part of this, because one, it's incredible to get the support we got last year, and to grow that support would mean a lot to the city. But two, I think to the people that come down here for this, to the filmmakers, to the city itself, for us as members of our community to energize our downtown for that one weekend, really kind of see what this is about and participate. One, I think it's very important. And two, I can guarantee we're going to show you a kick-ass town. So thank you so much. Yes?
Gregory, what are the dates for this year?
The dates for this year are October 3rd through 6th. On October 3rd, we're actually going to do something a little different. We're going to take over a bar downtown, the Voodoo Lounge. And the whole weekend, the filmmakers are judged. It's very stressful to be a filmmaker. When you think about really having to work the system, to be that entrepreneur, to have that spirit, it's a lot of work. So on Thursday night, we're going to do a mini version of the Louisiana Music Prize. And what we're going to do is we're going to jury in about 4 or 5 local bands, and then we're going to do a kitschy version of The Voice. And we're going to let the filmmakers be the judges for the bands themselves, and they're going to get to decide who it is. So October 3rd, we're going to do the music prize, and then the 4th and the 5th, we're going to show the films, and then the 6th is when we do the brunch. Yes, Bob.
Gregory, the return on investment sounds really good. Are you getting any direct funds from the Convention and Tourist Bureau and from Economic Development Foundation?
Well, we haven't really gone for the Economic Development Foundation, but I will say that the Tourist Bureau has come big for us. One thing I really sort of neglected to say, and it's very important to what we're doing this year. One of the reasons I think we're seeing more response than we did last year is we're expanding the pool of prizes. So not only giving away the $50,000 cash, but we're also giving away iTunes distribution to the top 5 films, so they have the ability to not only, to maybe make something back, but maybe even make something on their films, which is something that's unheard of globally, that we were able to strike this deal with Shorts International. And then also the other part that we're going to do, which is a huge deal with filmmakers, and we're guaranteeing festival appearances. Those festival appearances will be in New Orleans, Dallas, Los Angeles, and Memphis. So we're offering that. The other big thing that we're doing, which is, I think, really important to at least the mission of the film festival, is that we are going to be offering what are called Founder Circle grants. What a Founder Circle grant is, it's a judge's prize. So the judges will actually, the national judges will determine this, but it's a $3,000 grant that if the filmmaker comes back next year and makes his film in town and incurs local expenses, we will reimburse that up to $3,000. So we're going to give away 5 of those this year also. So I think that's all very important. I will also say last year, we haven't heard from them yet this year, but we're getting decent indications, is that the city of Shreveport seems to be very interested in coming back and being a sponsor again for us like they were last year.
Do you see any international participation in the
Well, actually this year, is the team from NYU? So there's actually a film school team from NYU, they're from Greece, that have actually, I think they've already shot their footage. Actually, that and there's a team from Florida too, that, they're here for school, but I guess as international as it's gotten, we got our first request for information from Canada the other day, which is pretty amazing when you think about it.
Well, last year on the big weekend, did you have any unsolicited Hollywood producers or big-time actors here?
No, but it's a good point. I mean, Millennium Studios is one of our sponsors. We're going to be announcing something pretty soon. While that's not a celebrity might be attached to this announcement. I think having a celebrity, as much as it just pains me to say it, that having a celebrity actually helps. But yes, I mean, I think that it's something that we're certainly looking into. And, if you know anybody or you are a celebrity, then please talk to me afterwards, and we'll get you on board. We'll treat you right.
I'll see you after the show.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Any other questions? Yes.
It was just fabulous. I just love it. And there wasn't a bad one in there.
I appreciate you saying that. Well, I appreciate, and again, I mean, I think that, again, what made the event amazing was the community. I mean, the community is what really created something special and incredible, and something that we're, flustered and dreamy enough to do this again, because again, within our office we always say we're just a soup stone, right? I mean, we're just guys with a big check right now, and it's really up to the filmmakers to show up, and it's up to the community to show up. And last year, as I said, I mean, Sabrina will tell you I'm the pessimist of the office, and I thought if we got 800 tickets, we would have knocked it out of the park. And we got, here's an interesting statistic, is we have to, mathematically, we have to make sure that every person who buys a ticket can see all 20 films. Because the only way you can vote is if you see all 20 films. And it ended up being about like seeing two movies. It's about 4 hours of watching total. So we split them up, and you had to see one slate and then the other slate. So we have to make sure that anybody who buys a ticket can sit in a seat and be part of that screening. Last year, we could sell up to 1,826 tickets, right? So 1,826 people could come down before, 1,827, then someone could say that we were not doing our job right. We sold 1,744 tickets, and if you want to watch a guy sweat it out to the very end, I was like eyes rolling back in my head at the very end. But this year we're actually looking to make it bigger and better. This year we're going to take over the Robinson. We're taking over the Capri again. And then we're going to expand out, and I'm very excited to announce this, is we're going to expand out and we're going to have Arch Station, the refurbished fire station. They are going to donate their engine room to us. And it's going to be incredible. It's going to be awesome to be able to energize that part of downtown, expand ourselves out and see what happens.
How can you see the winners from last year?
Well, last year, what we did is we gave the rights back to the filmmaker. We didn't take any rights, so we legally could not show the film prize films. We did, because we got invited to some film festivals and filmmakers gave us permission. You had to ask the filmmakers themselves from last year, but this year you'll be able to buy them on iTunes. So it's, I think that, again, all these opportunities that these guys are going to have to not only be a part of the festival, but to continue doing what they do or make money off of what they did, I think is very important. It's very important. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys are fantastic.